Nigerians. You're welcome to the maiden edition of a program, The Solution. We are live from Esteem Online Radio and Africa TV, Obokun Avenue, Ilesha, Osun State. You are welcome to the program, The Solution, where we shall be discussing trending national issue, discussing the problem, and also bringing out the solution to some of the problem. And I'm not going to be doing it alone. I have two special guests in the house. I call them solutions because anyone that I bring on this show, they are here to do justice to some of the problems. And for every problem, there is always a solution. So then I will start from my left to introduce my guest. From my left is Prince Eludayo. He's a seasoned journalist. He's a professional artist. He has featured in so many films. Example of them is Ebure, produced by Professor Wale Ladipo. I hope all of us know Professor Wale. He's an erudite. He is also the head of program Yoruba, any Apollo media organization worldwide. You are welcome, Prince.
Thank you very much. You are welcome to the program.
It's our pleasure having you.
To all viewers and listeners.
Thank you so much. And also to my right, I would have loved to refer him as a pastor, but he loves to be called Mr. So he's Pastor Adekunle Isaac. He is the pastor in charge of the Savior Apostolic Church, Omiadio, Ibadan. Omiadio, Ibadan. I hope Omiadio, Ibadan. He is a marriage and relationship counselor. He's a seasoned Yoruba journalist as well. You see that I am blessed now. He's a linguist, graduate from University of Ibadan. He's a translator of language. If you want to translate English to Yoruba, he's here. And he's also an erudite. He's a solution. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. And good day to all our viewers and so. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So now to the topic proper. And before we go to the topic, I would like to let us know there is no doubt that in this country, or let me say in the world today, there is a problem in one way or the other. And if we come back to our nation, Nigeria, we realize that we have myriads of problems, but the one that is like very particular to us, especially on this program, is the political problems. And we have our elite in the house who shall be doing justice to them. So firstly, we shall be discussing about the subsidy removal. Subsidy removal, it has been a trending topic, a very main topic. I can even tell us it is the foundation of the current situation of Nigeria today. Because when you hear subsidy or removal of subsidy, I can even bet it with us that there are many that do not even know the meaning of the subsidy. But anywhere they hear that removal of subsidy, they know that removal of subsidy to them, based on what we are facing, they know it's a problem. They really know it's a problem. So I would now like to put it to us. Let me start from Prince Eludipo. Let us look at the removal of subsidy. This removal of subsidy of 18 came on board as, let me say, immediately, or should I say during the inauguration speech of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On that particular day, everybody gathered. Everybody was waiting, hoping to listen, should I say, to the word of hope from the newly elected president, as we all know. So as he was like making his speech, he now bounced on this fuel subsidy removal. And you won't believe it, immediately he made the though by the time he made the pronouncement was as was like a reference. According to the report, we had that it has already featured on the previous budget of his predecessor,
Yes.
the President
Muhammadu
Muhammadu
Buhari.
Buhari. But to many Nigerians, for the president saying it out, we believe that is the beginning. You understand? Because that was when we started feeling, the effect. So my question now is that we are going to be talking about the problems and talking about the solution. But though we're going to be doing it one after the other. The subsidy removal, sir, how has it affected us as a nation?
Thank you very much. Firstly, subsidy is a kind of benefit to an individual. And then in this nation, let me say this country, the situation of this country before is still a manageable thing, is a management things in a country. But when it comes to the matter of removing a subsidy, firstly, to people from their, let me say to the masses, from their orientation and then from their mentality that we have some benefit before, and when you hear removing of that benefit first, uh, it brings something to their mind that it's going to be tough thing, and then when the situation of a country is now coming harder and harder, so there's no way they will not put it together and come to assumption that removal of the subsidy is one of the problem, and to say the fact, it contributed to the problem we're having right now in some ways, because removing subsidy from what we have as resources, from the tax, and from all that parastatal. So I can say that it contributes and it give more um, effect to the problem we are having right
As
now.
a nation. Thank you so much. I think you have been able to even go deeper than what I expected. You have been able to help us to break down the meaning of subsidy
Subsidy, yeah,
as a benefit, as a relief.
to
And by the
others.
time you hear removal of a relief, removal of benefit, and it is like very glaring. Immediately the subsidy was removed. At least the year that was spreading across the nation
Nation,
was not like that we having it before.
it's a
And
negative term.
yes, and in your contribution, sir, you mentioned that even before Nigeria was managing.
Yes.
You understand? So it's like things was not that good before. The expectation of Nigerians, for changing leaders is that by the time the new leaders comes in,
There'll be a relief
they leave. Whereas
from the pain.
by the time they hear the removal of
Removal.
subsidy,
It's going to
you
hammer to
know,
it again.
thank you so much for that. Let me go back to my dear pastor, Pastor Isaac, sir. Uh, the prince has been able to justify that the subsidy removal is a problem already. Now we are like, do you agree with him?
Yeah, well, yes. Um, the first thing I will say is that almost all the presidential candidates, including that of Labour Party, that's Peter
Peter Obi,
Obi, the PDP
Atiku.
presidential candidate, Atiku,
Atiku Abubakar,
all of them already said they're going to remove fuel
subsidy.
subsidy uh, once they get to power. So it wasn't something, shocking when we heard it at our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's inauguration speech. But one thing I would have loved the president to do then was, you know, what is affecting Nigeria mainly is the, I will call it unpreparation.
As in, we are not
The
prepared.
president ought to have been familiar with the system before you announce fuel subsidy. Imagine I am not, familiar with the system. I don't even know how much they have in the purse. I don't know how. Fine, it was once a governor in Lagos State. That was around 1999 or so.
Yes.
But presidency, have at least for like 2-3 months, set a committee, let them oversee everything. Okay, are we going to remove all the subsidy at once or there is a percentage?
Age.
Okay, let's remove 50%. then we'll be paying the 50%. Okay, if you say there is a fuel subsidy, some people is only benefiting some set of people, remove them and put the people you trust there. Remove them. We have at least we'll have people you trust. There are some people that work with him in Lagos when he was Lagos State Governor. It was during his tenure, the former governor of Osun State, Ralph Aregbesola, also became commissioner for works or such. So you have people. Thank God we all know President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he's a builder. He has men he has built in politics. So I think the next thing for you to do is be familiar first. How do we go about it? What is the next thing? But the only thing you just do during your inauguration is announce first subsidy removal. And at the end, everything, it has affected almost every sector, not even almost every sector in Nigeria. Because when you remove fuel from sectors, everything works, business, in fact, churches are even everybody is feeling the heat. So it has contributed immensely to the suffering of, average Nigerians.
Thank you so much, Pastor. I think even from what you just said, I have a lot of things to learn. Like profiling the necessary solution, telling the president how he ought to have done it. If he had done it that way, possibly we mightn't have had this type of adverse effect. You talked about instrumental removal, assuming he had it in mind that he really wanted to remove the subsidy, maybe because of what he might have had, maybe because of the stealing on the ground or some other thing. Then you also said something that even if he wanted to do it, you talked about is it fire brigade approach in removing it. Then you also talked about you should have set up some committee even before coming up
to
with
that
the matter
one.
of removal. It's just very should I say very unfortunate how and where we find ourselves today. Sir Prince,
Yes.
do you also have any other advice that you can, because there is a proverb in Yoruba, the knife has already cut the hand, you throw the knife away. At least what he wanted to do, he has already done it. Now, the reason why we set up this program that we call it Solution. Is to advise government. We are not here to criticize government.
Yes.
You understand? We are solutions. So we're supposed to prefer solutions. So as it is now, we have all believed that it has happened.
Yes.
So what do you think the president could still do better to at least to make a kind of relief for the masses?
Okay. From what he has said, our president, or let me say our government, they can still come back and sit down on a table, put it on a table. Okay. In which area? In what area? How are we going to do it? They can still reverse this thing. Okay. Every parastatal, every sectors in Nigeria are dealing with what? We stand and rest on that fuel. So they can, if they cannot do it in 50-50, they can still make it 40-60 or 30-70 in removing of the subsidy. So by this time, there will be the kind of relief. Now, all these things, so they can still do it and provide solution. And in which way and in what way? Let's see now. Okay, let me say they remove from, let me say from each let me say from that what would stand on our economy like petroleum and everything. Okay, let's look at this. In which way that kind of investment or wasting of the resources or this, let's look at that one. And they will not sit on that. Okay, minister come, the directors come, all these people, let's come together. The governors, okay, let's look at it. And then by that they are now deliberate on it, they can make it and do it gradually or instrumentally.
Thank you.
So by doing that instrumentally, by then they now removing it instrumentally, maybe 30, 70, 60, 40. And by the time people are saying that this thing, okay, they are kind of relieving there, they will now, okay, this is another way we can do it, this is another way. By sitting down together, they are government. They are the one that are deciding on us. They are the one that are ruling us. They are the one that are governing. So by then they are not sitting down and do it in that way to my own best of knowledge. Okay, instrumentally, gradually they are doing it. I think there will be a solution from that one.
Thank you so much. If I will have put my own suggestion or contribution or solution. There is one thing I have observed in our leaders. I don't know whether it is the constitution that has given them too much power. Because look at some of these recommendations. Though the recommendation you give, sir, the solution you give, it's about is pre. You are talking about the pre-inauguration speech
Pre-inauguration
step.
speech.
Now he has given us the post election step. I mean,
Yes.
the post. After they have already implemented the policy.
Policy.
Post. After the policy though is
Yes.
the recommendation that you gave us. I have observed something about our leaders. Though there are some of them that are not culpable. What is my observation is that it's like it's too difficult for some of our leaders to reverse some painful policies.
Policy, yes.
You see, these are things I have noticed. Though we are still going back there, we are still talking about the fuel subsidy removal, the impact which the prince has already told us, and which the pastor has also confirmed that it has done us so much, damage or harm, than good. Although possibly the president might have had a good intention, you understand, but there is an adage in English that no matter how far you have gone on a wrong road, you can still turn back. If we have to come back to what Prince Eludipo recommended as his own solution, when you brought up a policy and you find out that this policy is aching, is painful, you understand? Because sometimes I sit down and I imagine that the policy these leaders are making, are they making it for themselves or for us?
It's for masses.
Because when you look at it, look at the government we are running, they call it democracy. So it is our belief, even though we have elected a representative president, but they can still, like, there's one thing they call opinion poll, where we borrow our system of government from.
Yes.
Sometimes when they discover that there is a controversial issue like this, they will put it back to the street. You understand? Mr. Kusibe, do you support that the government should go ahead with this policy?
Or not?
Do you understand? At least, I don't know. Do you see with your recommendation? Let me turn to Pastor. With the recommendation of Prince on the removal of subsidy, he has given a recommendation, sending a message to our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that we can reverse the policy, or if it is possible, they can be doing the removal instrumentally. What do you see to that? Do you think it's a good idea?
Well, as good as it sounds, we all know that our leaders in Nigeria, let me put it that way, or in Africa as a whole, there's this thing called pride in them. So, and one thing about all these their policies is that it's only affecting the poor masses, not them, because they have budget for food, for transportation, for this, for that. So everything they are doing during their tenure in power is free.
It's free.
It's free.
They have allowances.
So they are not feeling. They have sitting allowances. In fact,
allowances.
The Senate, the lawmakers,
Yes.
they only sit maybe once or twice in a
Twice
month,
in a week.
and you will see by the end of the month,
Bogus
amount. So they are not feeling the heat. So that's why they cannot reverse it, because all their children are in abroad. Even if they are in Nigeria, they know how they are doing it. There is office for the president's wife. The president's son is also in charge of. So how do you expect them to reverse it, because they are not feeling the heat? If they fall sick, you hear the president is going on sick leave in Canada or in UK. So how many poor masses will get sick and travel out of the country? How do you even want to get the money? So they can't reverse it. But if they can't reverse this policy, Nigeria has 4 refineries. 2 in Port Harcourt. We have old refineries in Port Harcourt. We have new refineries in Port Harcourt. We have one in Warri and all. Let them, at least all the money. I checked here online. The money, fuel subsidy Nigeria has been paying since 2015. 2015, Nigeria paid 3.34 billion. Yeah. And in 2023, last year, they paid 3.6 million have a year, like from January to May.
Are you talking about after they have declared
No,
the removal?
before.
Okay.
Before.
So the Nigeria paid 3.6 trillion until they announced for subsidy removal. And last year, the Minister for Petroleum also said, okay, they are working on one refinery in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
It will be ready before December, before Christmas.
Yes.
Until today.
Yet to be.
This year again, it came out, okay, within 6 months, we'll work on it. We are already in the second or the last month of the year. Nothing. And the money removed from this subsidy, they ought to have just reduced it to repair one of our refineries. Maybe it would have helped Nigerians at this moment. But a whole country is relying on Dangote's refinery. It's a slap on our face as a country.
There is this news I'm hearing this morning. That Dangote refinery you mentioned. You see, this has been my concern over the years. Is that the Dangote, its focus is now on this international community. It's talking about supplying public opinion.
Okay.
Yes. And there is one thing I believe is common sense. I would say it's even in economics. The situation where the people are the locals, that you cannot feed them with your production. You shouldn't plan of exporting your product elsewhere. You must first look at what you produce per day. What you produce per day, does the demand meet up? Because these are some of, although it's a private organization, though, you want to make profit. But if you remember, this is what the Nigerian government were using to console us that time when we were like lamenting. They say, Dangote refinery is about to be ready. And by the time Dangote refinery ready, we shall all be enjoying So even some of us, that time we were like thinking the fuel price will do what?
Come down.
And by the time the refinery kick started, we discovered that it's still the same story. So I expect by the time you say you are producing for a nation, you understand? I expect you to first focus and satisfy the nation first before this is just a digression. We are just using this medium to pass a message to the people in power, the federal government of Nigeria, that the masses are seriously lamenting, that they should try, and the recommendation of my people, I must not be afraid, they should reverse the policy. If they can't, do the removal of subsidy instrumentally, then again, I realized immediately the removal of subsidy policy was implemented. The federal government told us that there will be palliative. You understand? Which I believe they have been giving out, rolling out. We have seen maize. We have seen, even the governors are also receiving, big amount of money now. You understand? As a kind of relief, their belief is that the money they realize, from the fuel, or they ought to be using to pay subsidy, they will be putting it, as a relief material for the people. There are lots of programs the federal government has created, online. Some people were being given 50,000. I don't know whether Pastor has received his own. Prince, have you gotten your own?
Nothing like that.
Because we had it that there was a time a program a link was shared all around the nation that the federal government is giving some money as a relief, during the time of the hardship. Then some people also come to the state governors. They said now that the situation is like this, the state government has been receiving big money. For instance, let's use Osun or even Oyo as an example. The allocation they were receiving before, what they are receiving now is like times 4. You understand? Of what they were receiving before. So the people are now saying that, please don't blame our president. Our president is trying his best. He has given out money to your governors. Go and hold your governors accountable. Prince, what can you say to that? It is glaring that the president has given the governors big money. What do you What do you have to say to that?
On that, let me say it blank off. Are we putting the right peg in the right hole? No.
How, sir? Can you
Yes.
please expatiate, sir?
Okay. They were giving that palliative, or what they have called it. They are giving it to the governors. Okay, go and use it for your state.
Yes.
Go and use it for your people so they can have relief. Do they use it judiciously? Do they use it as the way they're supposed to? Okay, from let me use an example. That federal government work for special work, SPW, or what did they call it? They did something last 2 or last 3 weeks or last month. They said that the federal government are giving them something to do, the names of people that was in. Nobody knew when they were giving that form out. We just heard that. Go and check in the local government, maybe your name is there. On getting to the end, the name was pasted with the words.
So how did they
do that?
select
And then we now hear that they are giving it to the party and they are selecting people. They selected people then. So people in Ilesha, their name fall into effect. People in Ikpedo find their name in Osogbo. Through the name of being a party, giving it to party member. So only party member can, let me say, benefit from it. So that's what I'm saying. Although the federal government do that one, the federal level do that one to the low state level. How do they do it? So that's what we are saying. It's part of it. So to that one, let me say, we still have something we call 40 from our government. 40 system, and they kind of said that
is it the state or the federal?
State also, because that thing was sent to state. Even those form, because the form cannot just come from federal government and to the local government. Okay, this name we are choosing. They send it to them. Okay, these are the people in your state. These are the amount of the form. We want 500,000 used from your people from your state to do this thing. But from state, they send to local government. But they don't send it to the masses. It's a messing after that. The name have been pasted, the name have come out before people hear that government want to do something. We just only find it on, okay, that's on social media, on platform that we saw that thing. People log into that thing, it has logged. And it's not open.
Has
ended before they take it out. And from the federal government, from the state and the local government, they did what is wrong and they didn't do the right thing with that palliative authority.
What a format. Thank you, Prince. I think you have been able to do justice to that. Then come back to you, sir. What do you have to say to that? The palliative, even okay, he has talked about how the state has not done well on the issue of the palliative, which is the food or the material. Then what about the allocation? The allocation has been increased now. So, and the pain we are still feeling. So what is the problem?
Okay, one thing I would just say is that instead of for the federal government to give the states, increase their allocation, why not supervise how the money will be spent by themselves? During President Goodluck Jonathan, tenure, we heard something like Shopee, when the fuel subsidy was removed. So the money from it, there was an empowerment for the youth. At least, if not, some people benefited, even if it is 13,000 youth from each state. Then, it is not, during the last government, President Muhammadu Buhari, we had something, empowerment like N-Power, even if it's not money made from the first subsidy. But ever since this government came into power, I've not heard of any national empowerment. So instead of giving the money to state government where they will not be able to monitor how the money is, why not channel the money? Okay, throughout Nigeria, we want to empower 100,000 youths. And it will be batch by batch. Empower. Some people will do it maybe 3 months. They will collect their money. If you are able to save it, you can start, even if it is minimum with 75,000 naira. And then give them for 3 months or 6 months, even if it is a year. Then the following year, let another set of people come. They will know that they are enjoying the dividend of democracy. But you are now giving palliative. How many, like in the family of 4, you are giving 50,000. Like, I went to the market, my wife sent me to the market last week. So she has always been the one buying food stuff. So she said, when you are coming, just buy. She gave me the list. And when I got to the market, I bought rice, and I was even arguing with the woman. She said, rice, I said, one Congo.
And you,
He
it's
said,
been long you enter.
it's been long. And I said, I want to buy groundnut oil. So instead, normally, I will just give her like 15,000, just manage whatever you can buy. I spent 25,000 naira. I've not even finished what I've done. So imagine you now giving, it's just like wasting of money. Giving, Nigerians money. And how many people you say we should go and register? Then what's the meaning? What's the importance of the BVN that we have?
That is
The
it.
NIN will link with our account. So if you want to help the Nigerians, you have the account number, send the money into the account. So one thing I would just say is that when the righteous people are not in power, we're doing things wrong. But when we have right people in power, our government will be righteous. And, that's what we are facing today. Allocation or no allocation. State government. If you had state government, I think there's something that came up 3 or 4 months ago when they were, accusing the governors. I think the federal government was accusing the governors that they gave them some money and Governor Sheyi Makinde, speak on behalf of the governors. That the money that the federal government gave them was the money the state government spent during COVID-19. That the federal government asked them to spend the money from the state government purse. And I think the World Bank gave the federal government money and they were in reimbursed. So you can see how they were shifting blames. The state government was shifting blames on the federal government. So who do we blame? So that's justice.
Thank you, Pastor. You have really done so well on this. You have given us some tip, or given the government some tips. You have encouraged them to be honest in the distribution of palliative, both the federal and the state. Then the prince has been able to tell us how the government, should I say, are modeling things up. Even they are deceiving us. You see, there is deceit from even what you said regarding them and what you said regarding us. Look at the program you talked about.
Yes.
That they advertise.
People went there. When they got there, they said, my name is not there. And they said, Irema what? Akinde can what? I didn't see this. Go to meeting now. When you go to meeting, you see your list in the meeting. So those that are not in their party,
for all Nigerians.
That is it.
Okay. So it's only God that will just help us. Our own is to advise the government, and we want to believe that we are going to speak it in the voice that they will hear, listen, and it will also benefit them. Because let me tell you, when you are telling a government, advising government to do things right, it will only it will benefit them. Though it will be a 50-50 something, we too that we are giving advice, we also benefit. When you tell someone to do things in the right way, look at the palliative of a thing. The Lagos state government did something. I wouldn't know whether he spent his money or it's the palliative. He opened some markets at that time. You understand? And he slashed the price of those materials. Especially, you understand, like the rice that's supposed to be sold at 100,000, he started selling it. You're on a designated market. You see, these are my plans. These are ways.
You understand?
Like Lagos State Boss
that
convey
workers
workers
to their destination.
To the place. Then I think I learned, is it Osun State government was like, not, is it the Molebeck who was, he made a policy that the workers, maybe it's reducing the time
of working. Yes.
Time of working.
Time they work in
These are ways, you understand, for a governor, or government to do it. But the way they are, like the distribution of palliative, to be frank, they've not been.
When they even started last year, was it last year or early this year? When they started, the governor of Oyo State launched it at Isheyin, Oyo State. A month after, it was brought to Omiadio. It was when the bus was the bus that was ringing. If you see how people just grab the bus, they didn't even get to the venue where they are going to distribute it before the masses just drag it. You see like 2-3 people from the same family carrying 2-3 bags of rice. Because people are hungry.
Yes,
People are hungry. Thank you so much. I think this is where we'll be drawing the curtain of the maiden edition of our program, The Solution. And thanks to God for giving my special guest to me. They've been able to handle it accordingly, and they've been able to do justice, to all the problems. And I think, the way they have even presented the solutions, it's hot cake and it's fresh for the government. I know they are listening to us, and we wish them well. So that's the reason why we set up this program. We set it up to help the government, so that by the time everything is okay, all of us will live a better life. Though we pray for the government, we pray for Nigeria, and we pray for ourselves. Then we want to appreciate the executive chairman of this radio, the King Michael Adeboye Ashaolu, and we want to appreciate all the management staffs, and we appreciate the man behind the camera, Mr. Kusibe. We appreciate my special guest,
Thank you.
Pastor Pastor Isaac Adekunle from Ibadan. Thank you. We are very lucky to have you. We hope that when we call you some other time, you will rush down to this place, because I know you are so very concerned about Nigeria, and even in your voice you have even shown that. My powerful prince,
Thank you, sir.
Kábíyèsí sir.
Kábíyèsí Ọlọ́run ọba.
So
Kábíyèsí
we
Ọlọ́run.
really appreciate you too. All your points, all the points you have given to the government, they are very valid. We pray that God will continue to be with you, sir. So then we want to hope too, the next time when we call on you, you will be here.
By God
I
grace.
trust you, even I will drag you.
By God grace.
Thank you so much. So this is the end of the program. My name once again is Sunday Oluwadamilare Amori. Before, I'm a solution, and I will continue to be a solution. Then I want to also implore you, the viewers and our followers, to follow our page, Esteem Online Radio, Africa TV, and keep being the solution that Nigeria wants. Don't do what you are not supposed to do. Always let them find you in a very place of integrity, so that they will know that you are really a solution. Nigeria needs solution, and the solution to Nigeria problem will surely come. So we shall come your way some other time. Once again, my name is Sunday Oluwadamilare Amori. Thank you, and God bless you.